Blake Lively's Hollywood drama is taking some wild turns lately. The star seems to be pulling out all the stops, relying on her inner circle, including her girl Taylor Swift and hubby Ryan Reynolds, to try and put the squeeze on her co-star Justin Baldoni. From allegedly threatening producers with a full-on boycott if they didn't give in to her crazy demands, this isn't just some little squabble between Hollywood creatives. No, this is starting to look like a calculated, strategic power grab. Now, we all know that when stars drop a new movie, the public and the media start digging deep, pulling up old interviews, scouring the past. It's not unusual for this to result in fans being taken aback, uncovering some questionable behavior. In Blake's case, fans started noticing something off during her press tour for It Ends With Us. Suddenly, the actress seemed to be taking on a bit of a more distant, even rude, attitude. What began as an offhand comment or two quickly escalated into a full-blown public backlash. She started to look less like a sympathetic star and more like someone with a bit of a chip on her shoulder. But what's actually happening here? Could Blake Lively have been playing a long game all along? We thought we were just dealing with a sexual harassment lawsuit, but as the drama unravels, it's becoming clear there's much more beneath the surface. Blake's accusations against Justin Baldoni were serious. She claimed he sexually harassed her, and even alleged that he was running a smear campaign to ruin her career. But just as things started heating up, Justin fired back with his own lawsuit. He wasn't the one doing the dirty work. Blake was. He accused her of being behind the smear tactics. Let's take a step back for a second and see where all of this began. This Hollywood blow-up didn't just start overnight. In fact, it has been brewing for some time. Blake's reputation began to take a dive, and not because of anything Justin Baldoni allegedly did to her. No, this downfall had everything to do with Blake herself. When Blake was out there doing press for It Ends With Us, fans started picking up on her less-than-friendly vibe in interviews. There was an attitude shift, and it seemed like she was being dismissive, cold, even mean. Naturally, the internet being what it is, fans and critics began digging into her past interviews to see if this was just a sudden change in her personality or if the cracks had been there all along. What they found wasn't pretty. Text messages between Blake and others were uncovered, showing some pretty shady behavior on her part. Instead of facing it, what did Blake do? She went into full defensive mode, pointing the finger at Justin Baldoni and accusing him, and his PR team, of orchestrating a smear campaign against her. But this didn't end with finger-pointing. Blake made a huge PR move, one that screamed desperation. She took it straight to the New York Times. Now, you've got to know that when a celebrity runs to a major publication, it's usually a well-calculated strategy. For Blake, this was no different. She used the NYT piece to paint herself as the victim of Hollywood's cruelty, while turning Justin into the villain. Except here's where the tea gets extra hot. We've recently learned that the New York Times played dirty too. They doctored the text messages that were supposedly damning to Justin. Key details were cut out, and the story was twisted to make him look bad. This wasn't just biased reporting. It was a full-blown hit piece designed to tear Justin down. Now, if you're feeling a little déjà vu here, you're not alone. Does this whole thing remind you of another high-profile case? If you're thinking of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, you're onto something. Blake Lively seems to be repeating the same playbook that Amber used when she accused Johnny Depp of abuse back in 2018. She ran straight to the press with a hit piece, made herself the innocent victim, and painted her ex-husband as the villain. And guess who's backing Blake up in this mess? None other than Amber Heard herself. Yes, the same Amber Heard whose lies were exposed in court, leading to her career crashing and burning. Blake's mistake. She's trying to rewrite history, but she's doing it with the same old strategy that led to Amber's downfall. But let's not sugarcoat things. Justin Baldoni is going full Johnny Depp on this one. He's fighting back, revealing that Blake was the bully, the one who was harassing him, and not the other way around. And just like Johnny, Justin's legal team is ready to lay it all out in court. Now, we know Blake's fans have been turning on her too. Her behavior on set and in interviews has made her more and more difficult to defend. As if the situation couldn't get any messier, Justin's lawyer is now prepping to expose Blake for what she truly is. Someone who tried to manipulate the entire situation for her own gain. Let's talk about the real issue here. It looks like Blake had a full-on plan from the beginning. We're talking about a calculated attempt to take control of Justin Baldoni's movie and elevate herself to a position of power behind the scenes. Don't believe me? There are text messages flying around between Blake, Justin, the producers, and the editors that are spelling out exactly what she was trying to do. Here's the thing. Blake thought she could play the game and no one would notice. But now her moves are all coming to light. She was trying to leverage allegations of sexual harassment and bullying to position herself as the de facto director of the movie. Remember, Justin wasn't just the lead actor in the film. He was also the writer and director. So imagine his shock when he discovered that Blake had secretly edited her own cut of the movie, without his knowledge or approval. But hold up, that's not the worst part. Justin learned that Blake's husband, Ryan Reynolds, had been secretly writing scenes for the movie. Ryan, yes, Ryan Reynolds, was allegedly stepping in to write scenes for a film that wasn't even his. What's worse? Justin had no idea any of this was happening behind his back. And if you think that's wild, here's something even crazier. Do you remember that iconic rooftop scene in the movie? Ryan Reynolds apparently wrote it. Blake let it slip in an interview that her husband was the one who came up with that scene. So not only was Blake secretly
pulling the strings behind the scenes, but Ryan Reynolds, who had no official role in the production, was making key decisions about the script. This whole drama escalated further when Justin was literally shoved aside during the premiere of his own film. He wasn't allowed to walk the red carpet or be seen with the cast. Instead, he was sent to the basement with his friends and family. Can you even imagine the disrespect? The saga doesn't end there. Turns out, Justin invited editors to the premiere, but they were specifically told not to go anywhere near Blake. Justin was also informed that he wouldn't be allowed to attend the premiere, further pushing him to the sidelines. Blake had successfully turned the entire production into a one-woman show. But wait, it gets juicier. Blake has been accusing Justin of invading her personal space, claiming that he barged into her trailer while she was breastfeeding. But once again, newly leaked messages have flipped the narrative. Turns out, it was Blake who invited Justin to her trailer while she was pumping milk for her baby. This whole invading her space story isn't adding up. Then there's the infamous accusation that Blake made about Jamie Heath, one of the lead producers and a close friend of Justin. She claimed he showed her highly inappropriate, pornographic material. But guess what? The inappropriate material was actually a tasteful, artistic shot from a birthing scene used as a reference for a film sequence about childbirth. So, once again, Blake twisted the truth to fit her narrative. Blake also claimed Justin fat-shamed her by asking about her weight. But here's the thing, Justin was concerned about his back issues and needed to know her weight for a scene where he had to lift her. It wasn't about body shaming, it was about safety. But Blake blew the whole thing out of proportion, and when Ryan Reynolds got involved, it just added more fuel to the fire. And just when you think it's over, more leaked text messages show how supportive Justin actually was when Blake was struggling with insecurities about her body after giving birth. He was nothing but kind and reassuring, but Blake twisted his words to create more drama. Blake even accused Justin of not hiring an intimacy coordinator for the film, claiming that the intimate scenes were poorly choreographed. But guess what? Blake's own lawsuit contradicts this claim. In an interview, she confirmed that they did, in fact, hire an intimacy coordinator. So, now she's out here contradicting her own story. The bottom line is that Blake Lively's narrative is falling apart.